This video is brought to you by Boss Rutan's O2 Trainer. Check out o2trainer.com and check out powerperformanceproducts.com and get $10 off your purchase of Body Storm and Body Effects.
Yeah, I think I did the right work in Dicker. I did what I needed to do. I'm ready to fight. All that's on my mind right now is to win. Is to go in and perform the way I've never performed before. It's a fight that I wanted, and it's a fight that I'm going to get it, and it's a fight that I have. The only thing in front of me right now is to get a win. I'm excited, focused. I know what I need to do.
And you said this is the fight that you wanted. It was actually put together mutually by you and Forrest Griffin. What was it about this matchup that made you want to run it back again for what is your final UFC fight?
You know, I think it really comes down to the fights we had prior. They speak for themselves. It was probably the most exciting fights that we had. And Forrest shows great heart. And someone to excel me to that level, I want to fight guys like that. I want guys to fight, run away from me and so forth. Guys who fight, and Forrest is the guy who fights.
And they were both close.
And they were both very, very close. And I don't know, on Saturday night we're going to prove to see who the best guy is.
Now, you've said the three biggest highlights of your career: winning the world title versus Wanderlei Silva, tapping out Ryan Bader as a 5-1 underdog, and beating Ken Shamrock in the first big mega fight of the modern era. What do you believe, as you sit here right now, is your single greatest UFC accomplishment?
God, I say becoming the world champion. You know, a young punk kid who was on the street, who was around gangs, drugs, parents were drug addicts, wasn't able to accept to be special in life, and I worked hard and I dedicated myself. I became a world champion only after a year and a half of competition. I believed in being the best I possibly could be, and I became that. And I think I look back on my career right now, and that's the thing that stands out more than anything, because I was able to accomplish something that I was never supposed to do. And it shows what hard work and dedication can accomplish. And that's why I try to be an inspiration in people's lives. And that's why I changed my name from the bad boy to the people's champs, to make a difference to every one of the humans on earth, man, that you can make a difference as long as you keep your mind focused and work hard. And that's what I've done.
Now, Dana White said a while back you were a lock to go into the Hall of Fame at some point. How much more special is it, though, to be inducted on the day of your final fight and to get to walk to the octagon one final time as a UFC Hall of Famer?
I haven't really thought about it. I just been training. I just been wanting to fight and just go out and do what I usually do. I know the Hall of Fame is something that I'm very thankful, for Dana and Lorenzo to induct me to this thing. It just shows to my fans that all my hard work does pay off, and I'm very thankful to it. And Saturday, when I wake up that morning, I guess we're just going to have to tell how it comes out, the outcome of it. But the most important thing right now to me is get in the cage and fight at the capacity that I know I can fight at.
All right, Forrest Griffin, this is the third fight between you and Tito Ortiz. UFC 59, 2006, you lost a split decision. That was the fight of the year. Then you take the rematch also by split decision in 2009. But here as we sit in 2012, how closely are the two of you matched?
I don't think a lot's changed since the last couple go-rounds, We'll see. I think, you always think you have a couple surprises, but we'll find out.
We know how competitive you are. We know your wit and sense of humor has endeared you to UFC fans across the world. But I'm going to ask you to take this question very seriously. You have said if you can't beat Tito Ortiz, you will retire from life. You obviously have some pressure as the 4-1 favorite, but how much pressure are you putting on yourself to make sure you come through in this spot and to not let him go off into retirement by winning this series?
Well, shit, if I said it, it must be true. So there you go. I'll stand behind it. Tito said something that kind of spoke to me. He said, this is, I'll die for this. I'll die for that. And at first it sounds kind of outlandish, but if you really think about it, in 20 or 30 years, if I'm remembered for anything, it's going to be for fighting. I was never, a soldier, a fireman, a cop. I never put my life on the line in another capacity. This is the closest thing to being a hero I'll ever come. So yeah, I'll die for this. And I thought about that. I thought about that comment I made. I thought about what I was doing a long time ago when I started training for this fight. I thought this fight was going to be maybe May 5th, So I'm ready. I've worked on a lot of new things. And, I took it serious. I never really called anybody out before. I never asked for an opponent before. So I figured if I was going to do that, I better make damn sure that I was ready.
All right, well, you guys have already shared the octagon for 30 minutes. You know each other quite well. Can there be any surprises stylistically at this point in time? And what do you think when the octagon door closes, this fight's going to come down to?
Oh yeah, that was for me. I don't know. You know, it's hard to say. That's kind of predictive analysis. You know, I know it's going to be a big day for Tito, and I know he's going to come in with a big head of steam. You know, Hall of Fame, final fight, fighting me. I know he gets motivated to fight me. You know, I just have to make sure that I'm prepared to match that intensity right from the jump.
Well, you are an established UFC veteran, obviously a former UFC champion, but this has been your first training camp as a father. How has that impacted your preparation and I guess affected, you know, the training camp and the days and weeks leading up to the fight?
Well, it's not that bad. I got a good wife, so.
Yeah, I think that goes a long way. All right,
I don't do any of the heavy lifting, you know?
You changed diapers though, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, Tito, we'll close with you here. 15-year career, so many memorable fights. It is down to its final 15 minutes. We know how badly you want to close this rivalry with a win. Can you put into words right now your level of motivation heading into the Octagon Saturday night?
With great sacrifice comes great reward. I've sacrificed my body, I've sacrificed my mind, I sacrificed to get away from my family for 9 weeks for this camp. For 15 years I fought to get where I am today. Forrest is another fighter, bleeds like me, breaks like any other person. I'm going to do my job on Saturday night, and that's get a W. You know, it has to be the top two because it's true. You know, number one, of course, is Shamrock, because it was true. There was no lies, it was heartfelt towards each other, but it was a little different between Forrest. You know, me and Forrest, it was never really personal. It was, I never did any hatred towards him. You know, maybe the first fight I said a few things that were a little out of, I wouldn't say not out of character, but out of trying to get under his skin. But I was all respect for Forrest. He's done great for the sport. He's done great for himself, becoming a world champion. And my third and final fight, you know, I asked Lindsay and Dana that we can make this happen. You know, we both got split decisions, but you know, I think me and Forrest rightfully has to be the top two.
All right, one more. You're a very emotional fighter, in and outside the octagon. Saturday night, you're going to get introduced as UFC Hall of Famer Tito Ortiz. Is that going to affect you emotionally going into what is your last fight? It's the first time you fought with knowing that there's not another fight after this. Like, just emotionally, how will you be able to handle that kind of situation?
Well, I think this kind of goes out when I almost won the middleweight world title against Frank Shamrock. I threw everything out. I have 15 minutes of me going 100% non-stop, 15 minutes. I ain't worried about the Hall of Fame. That's a given. That's guaranteed. That's already, it's in the bag. What's not guaranteed is getting my hand raised. But in my mind, I'm focused on positive reinforcing myself to prepare what's going to happen. And that is to get my hand raised.
Richard Hunter Carroll, the Dallas question for Tito. I'm wondering if you could sum up the second run here in the UFC. You know, going back to UFC 84, having to interview you in the hallway of the casino because you weren't being welcomed into the post-fight press conference. It seems hard to believe that you would ever be back in the UFC, let alone be on the eve of going into the Hall of Fame. Are you at peace with UFC management, with Dana White? And, you know, just if you can, sum up this second run that you've had in the UFC.
Well, I think it's just a reincarnation, you know. The hard work and everything has paid off. I've got the respect from the fans, from the company, and I've always been about UFC. I've seen a few interviews that Dana has done saying that I've always been about myself and so forth. It's kind of hard to say when I go and get back surgery to fight for the company, when I go get neck surgery to fight for the company, when I go get knee surgery to fight for the company. I've always been about the sport. I've always been about exposing the sport to its fullest potential. And its fullest potential being, as we're the greatest athletes alive. We're the modern day gladiators. As you can see it, and all these fans and news and press, they're here for us. Because we are the modern day gladiators. We step out and we perform. And on Saturday night when I win, I'll win the crowd. And that's how I win my freedom.
If you have to choose the 5 most important moments in your career, or fights, moments or fights, can you tell us?
5 most important. Wow. Number 1 is winning a world title, of course. Tied for first, beating Bader. Shamrock fight. Frank Shamrock, when I lost to him, I learned a lot from that. Beating Can. I say beat Forrest the first time.
Tito, I have a two-part question for you and one for Forrest, my name is Aaron Smith with the Missouri State Post. Are you sure that this week will be your last fight? Because a lot of athletes.
100%.
A lot of athletes have.
No, a lot of athletes say Tito Ortiz.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right.
Yeah, I've done what I wanted to do.
That's good. And so, what are your post-fight ventures? And then for Forrest, knowing one day that you're going to be hopefully get into the Hall of Fame, have you ever sat back and analyzed the importance of your fight with Stephen Bonner and the importance of what that fight meant to the UFC?
Go ahead, Forrest. I already answered the question. Go first.
No, I mean, you know, in the middle of the journey, there's no time to kind of take a recollection of it. You know, you're still in it. You know, I have plenty of time for doing that later. I know the Stephen fight was big because people bring it up to me a lot. So that had to be big because people always still mention it a lot. You know.
My post-fight career, I don't know. Maybe getting some commentating. You know, ESPN has offered me a job, but I would love to continue working with UFC. But I'm gonna take a month off. Go on vacation. Enjoy life a little bit. 15 years, I've been sacrificing a lot. I've been away from my family a lot. And it's hard when you have children. You know, you watch the boys grow up and all of a sudden they're 10 years old, 3 years old. It's like, wow, years gone by so fast. And I don't want to be the father that my father was when he wasn't there because of drugs. I want to be there. That's all it's time for me to say about it.
Tito back here. Rodrigo del Campo, la ciudad deportiva.com from Mexico. When you came into the UFC, Latin kids were into boxing, not MMA. Now that you're leaving, you have Joseph Benavidez, you got Dominic Cruz, you got Ken Velasquez. That's part of your legacy. How do you feel?
I think I've done my job of, at least a part of my job of trying to educate fans of what the sport is truly about. That we can be successful. Latinos can be successful. I wasn't supposed to be where I am today. I had 3 choices: dead, in prison, or where I am right now. And I think I've made some great decisions and some great things have been given to me. You know, thanks to Dana, thanks to Lorenzo, thanks to the UFC. I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for these things.
Case Keefer, Las Vegas Sun. A couple more questions for Tito. Tito, aside from just the fight night experience, what do you think you're going to miss most about all this, and what do you think you're going to miss the least?
What I don't miss the least is the automatic training. It's hard, man. People don't understand how tough training is. You do it for 15 years. Yeah, the first 8 years is cool. 9 years is okay. 10 years, you're like, all right, this has been a decade. Damn. 14, you're like, all right. 15, you're like, okay, this is enough. It's a full-time job. People think we get in the cage, we fight, and our day's over with, and we go and have happy family time, and do no. What we get paid for is to train. We fight for free. Training and what you put into training is what you get out of it. I know things I probably miss the most is walking out, you know, feeling the energy of the fans, the electricity in the air. There's nothing like it at all. I mean, I've been on tour with some of the biggest rock bands in the world, Limp Bizkit, Korn, and I could sit there and when Jonathan Davis came out with Korn at the Thunderdome in Detroit, when 80,000 people were there, and I was sitting, I mean, this is after I fought Frank Shamrock, I sat on the side of the stage with the Coors Light can, and he came walking out, and the crowd was so loud that my can was vibrating, just by the echo of the voices. I have that same feeling when I walk out. There's nothing like it. It was like it was meant to happen. And I think that'll be one of the biggest things I'll miss is my fans and the crowd.
Speaking of training, a fight or two ago, I think you made a big deal of you stayed close to home. You said it helped you prepare. You've already mentioned you were in Big Bear for 9 weeks this time. What went into that decision? Why did you decide to go back there?
I lose a little focus on at home. You know, got my kids, I got my clothing company, Punch for Athletics, got my gym, Punch for Training Center, my nutrition line, Punch for Nutrition. All that business stuff I kind of had to put on the back burner. You know, I left it up to my assistants and my friends to take care of, my business partners, and go up to Big Bear and focus strictly on this fight. Eat, sleep, and train, that's all I did. My family came up on the weekends, I got to see on Field TV. Rededicate myself to something that I love, that's fighting.
And just lastly, you seem like you you put your head down a little bit. Are you bothered by Forrest's retire from life comment?
No, not at all. That's his choice. He makes his own choices and own decisions in life, and I was known as serious about that. I would have bought him some retirement shoes.
Hi, Tito. I had a question regarding Chuck Liddell. You were supposed to fight him a third time, but you had to withdraw from that fight. Do you at all regret not being able to have that third fight?
If you had a chance of going paralyzed, would you take a fight?
Is there any fight that you would have wanted to take that you didn't actually get?
No, I fought every one of my fights. Injured or not injured, I fought them. When a doctor told me I had a chance of being paralyzed, it's not worth $1 million. No possible way. And I got a bad image painted on me on an Ultimate Fighter, but we all know the truth. I mean, I had neck surgery. I came back and I fought Matt Hamill, who I coached, who was a tough ass wrestler. And I took the fight 6 months after neck surgery. I had C6, C7 fused in my neck. Athletes don't come back after that. That just shows how much I love the sport and how dedicated I am to my job and to the UFC.
Question for Forrest over here. Last time you fought, obviously, was in Brazil. You talked about not liking to travel. Do you think that you are a different fighter, a fighter who's in a better place when you get to fight at home? Do you feel the difference, especially on fight week?
Oh yeah, and the fight week's pretty obvious. You know, you just go through your normal routine. Tonight I'll work out at my normal gym at fight time. You know, other than this, it's pretty convenient.
And would you say, obviously, it's been a couple of years since you last fought Tito. Is he better, the same, or worse of a fighter since you last fought him, in your opinion, based on your scouting of him now?
That's a good question. You know, I think. I don't know, I thought, you know, you got to think he fought Rashad. That was Rashad at his apex. You know, Rashad he fought, that Rashad would beat up a lot of guys. Pretty much everybody except that John Jones fella. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, I watched the fight with Hamill. He showed great striking there. You know, we'll see. I'd like to think, in my mind, I've prepared for every scenario. I think, you know, once we get going, though, it'll be the same kind of, you know, the same Tito, the same Forrest. I think, you know, we're both going to come in with game plans, and we'll see. You know, I kind of think it'll fall into the same rhythm it has. But I'm ready if it doesn't.
How about you, Tito? What do you think of Forrest? Better, worse, or the same?
I don't like you. I didn't answer your question. I didn't hear you save you, so. Next question.
I just want to ask, can I ask you a follow-up? Maybe a better question?
I think that's a no.
John, are you going to sing up?
Next question.
Follow-up?
I guess if he's not going to answer, we got to move on, my man.
That is unfortunate. Good luck to you, Tito.
This question is for Pato Loco, he's Rafa from Univision Reporters. You talk about you're putting everything aside, your business, your family, and you know, we spent a day up in Big Bear right after your son was ill. How difficult was it, Tito? Obviously, you know, how is he doing, and was the fight at risk of not happening after you got the news of your son?
Trying to make me cry, man? What the hell are you doing? Yeah, just kind of explain the question he had. My son had meningitis 3 weeks ago, and as a father, you don't understand how scary that is. I put my whole camp on. I really got my car and I told my training guys, I'll be back. They're like, what do you mean? I got a big fight. I'm like, I'll be back. I gotta take care of my family. I went to Arizona. Me and Jenna flew out there to see my son who had meningitis. Thank God my wife Kristen caught it early enough. I'm very thankful for her for catching it early enough. It was viral. They were able to get rid of it in 3 days. Thank God he has Ortiz blood running through him, and he was able to bounce back super quick. And people don't understand how scary it is to lose a child until you have a child. People say, I love you. You don't know love until you have a kid. There's no love like it. And like I say, I put everything on hold. 4 days off was okay. I mean, I'm in great shape, so it wasn't a big deal. But I was just so thankful. I'm thankful for God, for the angels, and whatever was looking over my son and my family. I was destroyed. And it took me a day to kind of recover from it, but to see a smile on his face, he had a little bit of swollen face, but to see a smile on his face saying, Dad, I'm glad you're here, I was thankful. Very, very thankful that my wife caught it when she did. My ex-wife caught it when she did.
And we're happy he's doing okay. And a little Rosetta Stone, and you got a job at Univision Deportes. Forrest, you're a new father. how are you balancing this new experience? Obviously, you've been married for a while, but how are you balancing now somebody that is really depending on you and you having to deal with your kid and your training camp?
Yeah, I don't do much of the heavy lifting. You know, I had to. At one point, I had to just move into the guest bedroom. You know, it's like I'm not getting up and fighting dudes after waking up all night. So you know, I think you have a good life, you're gonna be able to make it. You know, it's not easy. I wouldn't recommend that.
No, I don't.
It's not conducive to your career or your business whatever.
I've got a question for you, Forrest. A couple things. First and foremost, whoever designed your T-shirt, bravo, genius. I want one. I'm curious. You're a very creative guy. You're a writer as well. You've been doing your tweeting therapy. I know that's going well for you. I'm curious, when you're training, though, how does that affect your writing? Does it make is it a better outlet for you creatively? You know, do you write more when you're in camp or less?
No, I got a ton of crap for the third book, and I put it on hold a while back, and I'll pick it up again Monday.
Question for Tito over here. Tito, going away party on Saturday, how different do you think the sport would be if you had not been there?
I've never thought about it. I don't know. It may have been another Tito Ortiz. And it would have been Tito Ortiz, but I don't know. I just try to do my job as well as I possibly can do. I was trying to educate the fans and bring attention to the sport, but in a good manner. And I think I've done that. And Forrest, I mean, he's done the same thing too with the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, he's showed what us fighters have in the heart. I don't know. I never thought about it. There was no Tito Ortiz in the UFC. This is my calling, I think. This is what I was supposed to do. This is setting the stars for me. God had a plan for me. I'm not done yet, but this is part of it.
Well, and I know I speak for all MMA fans in the world. Thank you for all the minutes.
Put it on, man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Forrest, I do have a little girl. It's not so little anymore, but do you think she motivates you to fight more now or to maybe retire?
No, not at all. That retirement, that's what we're going around. Apparently, we joke about suicide. People think you might quit your job. He was talking earlier about training. I really like training. Like after I got beat up by Silva, I was pretty depressed, and this weird thing happened. Every day, I just got in my car and I went to the gym. And no matter what I'm doing in life, that just seems to happen. You know, even if I don't intend to, my car goes right to the gym and I work out. I don't know, I just really enjoy work, you know, I don't mind it. It's not something I'm ready to give up yet, you know. You get a little, you know, you have setbacks and you get disappointed, and my frustration with this sport simply comes from me not being able to be better than I am. You know, me working on things and then not doing them. I had a great camp for Shogun, I was in great shape, yada, 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 fall like shit. You know, it's upsetting, you know. It's not, I love this sport. I work about twice a year, and every time after I fight, I usually take a month off. Last time I had kids, so I took 6 weeks off. So, I don't know, man, I like training camps. It's fun to me, you know, it's a good reason to get out of bed in the morning. You gotta do something, you know, you gotta get out of bed and do something, and wrestling around with dudes is what I wanna do.
One last question for Tito. Tito, is there anyone in the MMA media particularly that you're going to miss?
Wow. I know all of them. Everybody in the media has always been really good to me. You know, I've always gone out of my way to help people make their careers on media. I've always been very media friendly. I've done interviews outside of UFC to help, and some people have showed their true colors, and some people are still with me. And I don't know, I'm not done yet. You know, I still be along the sport. You know, UFC has given so much for me to be here. I'm not turning my back on it. So I all said, okay, Tito's done, I'm retired. Later, guys, thank you for the money. I appreciate it. Thanks for the career now. I'm here. I'm still working. I'll still be working. You know, either it's with Fox, UFC, ESPN. I'll be doing something in the sport no matter what. We still have millions and millions of fans across the world to educate on the sport, what it truly is. And I'm not done with that.
All right, one more media question, and then we'll get a few from the fans here in attendance.
Conor Cordova, MMA Weekly. This question is for Tito. Tito, you spent the majority of your career being the bad boy, the 92 Beach bad boy. Now I see a very focused and at peace Tito Ortiz. Was this just very much a journey that brought you to this point? Was there one moment of true clarity that is making you what you are today?
You know, I think the bad boy was so negative, and negative will consume you. Before the Bader fight, I got sick of people talking smack. I got sick of people judging me in the company, outside the company, that would have an image on me that I really wasn't. And it hurt, because I'm a sensitive cat. I mean, I've gone through a lot, and the change to the People's Champ was in a positive manner, to show people that we were able to get through any adversities in life. I've had back surgery, I've had neck surgery, I've had ACL replacement. I've had things done to me that athletes don't repeat after. And I just want to show what hard work and dedication can achieve. And when I got out of that bad boy image, I think it really came about to being in a positive limelight for my children, to show that their father is a true champion, and he's worked hard in the sport to help get it where it is today. I'm thankful for Lorenzo, Fertitta, Frank Fertitta, Dana White, for giving me the job I've had. In 2001, when they bought this company, they kind of put it on my shoulders. You know, I remember in 2003, I sat down with Frank Fertitta and Lorenzo, and they said, we're sick of spending money. I said, just hold on to this, man. The sport's going to be huge, just hold on to it. And year after year after year, they got the Ultimate Fighter. Forrest was on season. He was one of the guys who helped save the sport. We got the interest back there again, whereas on mainstream media got that attention. And we've been a snowball effect since then. And not only here in the United States, but worldwide. I mean, I think we're the #3 in the sport entertainment world, behind soccer, behind basketball. We've taken over boxing, that wasn't a problem. We've taken over professional wrestling, that wasn't a problem. Taking over NFL, our next goal now is to conquer soccer and conquer basketball. And I think Dana has that job in front of him to achieve those things to make it happen. And I think he can with those fighters that really have done it.
Hey, we're the Tattoo Palace Ring Girls. Check out ProBoxingSupplies.com for all of your MMA needs.
Boombox in the backyard goes. The boombox in the backyard goes.